And there you go. Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey there, English teachers, and welcome to another very special episode of the More Than English podcast. I am your host, Jesse, and I want to help you in the classroom. And one of the ways that I do that is to invite guests, invite teachers who have specialties in certain areas and get different ideas and lesson ideas, lesson plans, attention getters, ways to teach. So you can bring that into the classroom or on your online classes, which we're going to do today. That's what we're going to learn about today. Online lessons, online learning of language that's the way the future's going, really. I love my online classes. And when I study Spanish, I think I'll prefer online classes because you have everything right here. You have all of your resources right here. But we're going to talk about that on the show. And let me introduce our show's guest. But before I do that, let me just give you a reminder that if you are watching this on YouTube, then the audio format of these episodes are going to be on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, anywhere where you listen to podcasts, also at sweedacademy.com. If you are listening to the audio, there's a video format on YouTube. So come check us out at Sweed Academy or EFL Teaching Hub. But let's get into our guest. Let me introduce our guest. And she's been on the show before with the old format. And her name is Camille. And she is an online English, especially now French teacher. And let me share a little bit about Camille. She is a professional English and French teacher, and she speaks 3 languages fluently, and you'll see about English and French and also Spanish, and we'll hear more about that as we talk to her. I was scrolling down her bio, and I love this, so I introduced it here because I share this same kind of idea. I share this same kind of principle. The pillars of learning a language. And really, I didn't put learning a language. I put just learning in general because this applies to everything. Know why learning this is important to you. And she makes mention that this is intrinsic motivation, right? You need motivation. Second, you need to trust yourself, believe in yourself, and find a method. This is so important. Find a method that suits your learning style if you're learning. And us as teachers, it's our jobs to find that or to help our students find that, isn't it? And also, it's so important and sometimes so difficult to get our students to practice regularly. But that is consistency. Consistency is key. And so let's welcome on the show Camille. What's up? How are you doing?
Hello. Good, and you?
Good. I love. How'd I do with your intro? Did I miss anything?
Perfect. No, that was perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I love your pillars of learning because I kind of have a similar thing that I think of myself as a teacher, right? There are 3 areas that I have to focus on in teaching. And the third is actually teaching the language. And in order of importance, the first is, like you said, motivation and confidence. And the first 2 can be interchangeable. Some students I've found have motivation, but they don't have the confidence. Some students are very confident, but they're lazy. They don't have the motivation. So those are the first 2. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think what's good with online teaching is that most of the time, if you are teaching adults, they will be motivated because they chose to be here. They are paying you to be and they chose you. So most of the time they are very motivated. But yeah, most of my students online, what they need is confidence. So it's very it's up to the teacher to give confidence to the student, like just tell them it's fine. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help you progress. I'm here to help you improve your learning skills and yeah.
Yeah, we're not here to judge, and it's kind of strange when students they get nervous or they feel like they're being judged by
Yeah.
me, and they're afraid to make mistakes in front of us who they're
Mm-hmm.
they're paying us so they can make the mistakes essentially.
Yeah, I'm always saying this is my job. I'm listening to your mistakes. I'm listening to them all the time, like from the morning to like all day long. So don't worry, like it's fine. And yeah, but sometimes it's a bit hard to deal with a student who is very anxious. But yeah, the idea is just to, with your method, try and make him feel at ease, and try and find exercises that don't put them in difficulties, and think about ways that they feel more comfortable. Are they more comfortable writing, speaking, reading? And introducing the lesson like this, and then go to speaking.
And find their interests, right? I think I
Exactly.
found
Yeah.
that a lot too. Something and usually I find if it's something that I find interesting, unless it's like a niche kind of thing, if I have a fan that's like a student who's a super football fan, I don't
Yeah.
really watch football, but I'd find football articles, right? But some
Hmm.
things like psychology, and articles about that's kind of general. If it's interesting to me, I think my adult students would find it interesting too.
Yeah, that's very the key point, I think, for my online classes. Is always I find it interesting first, and then I share it with my adult students, because if I want to talk about it, I'm sure, and yeah, I'm sure they will want to talk about it, and I will find the class interesting, so I'll be more motivated and more
More
confident.
engaged.
Yeah, engaged.
Yeah. And so Twitter's a great source for me. I find articles on Twitter, and whether it is in Forbes or on CNN or on like some fun news channels, and I'll pass them along to them, and I'll say, how about we look at this article this week in our lesson? Do you
Hmm.
do a similar thing?
I never use Twitter, but I just go on, most of the time I use a lot of videos, so just videos on YouTube, or on platforms that where teachers share the videos that they like working with. Or if I work with articles, I just go to the main newspapers, French newspapers, and I just um, look at the articles that are interesting to me, and then I share this with them.
Okay. And I
Hmm.
would like to get into the differences and similarities. I don't even know. Would there be more similarities than differences? I'd suppose teaching different languages. Um, for example, are your French classes in only French, even for very beginners, or do you use them in English?
It depends. If I see that they are super stressed, or they don't feel comfortable, and if they always ask me to repeat in English for beginners lessons, I would I would switch to English to explain, and to be like, okay, it's fine, don't worry, take your time, um, and then go back to French, or explain in French, and then rephrase in English if I see that they are completely freaked out. When I see that they are from A to B, when it's all in French. Um, but yeah, that's the main part. For kids, when I was teaching kids in classrooms, not online, what I was doing is, whenever I had to refer to a behavior, like to do some classroom management, it would be always in in Spanish, because I was teaching in Argentina, so it would be in Spanish, so that they understand here is something that you need to understand, and it's something that is not part of the learning process. It's just part of the classroom management. So so that I get sure they understand what I'm saying.
Okay, so that's kind of done in their native language so they can
Yeah.
understand. And the
Mhm.
lesson part is in for the very beginners, I'd assume.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And that was in Argentina. I remember you lived there and you told me you're going back.
Yes, I lived there for 2 years, and I'm back now. I'm back now in France. Uh-huh.
And
And
you're
I'm going
going
back.
back.
Yes, and I'm going back to Argentina. Yes, in
Okay. When are
January.
you going
Yes.
there? And are you going
Uh,
back to teach again?
yeah. Well, I will just go on teaching online because Argentina is going through a very, very hard crisis. So, like, I'm. It's not worth teaching. Like, the salaries there are really, really low at the moment. So, yeah, I'll just go on teaching online. But
Yeah.
my boyfriend is from Argentina, so that's why we are going back.
Okay. And is he
Yes.
still there? Or is he in
Uh,
France with you?
we stayed for 1 year in France because he had a visa for 1 year, and now we are going back to Argentina.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And I will ask you later, but to plug your specific italki, your specific account to um, and so people can contact you if they want
hmm
French lessons. But
hmm
let's do that now too, in case we forget later. How could people get in contact with you if they do want French lessons or English lessons?
Um, oh, English lessons. Yeah. Yeah. On italki, I think I can give you a link so that you can put it below
I'll
this
put the
video.
link below
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So italki, that's Italki if you're not familiar. And I'll put a link to general italki sign up. And if you sign up, then you'll get, they offer different promotions like a free lesson or free or $20 toward your free toward a lesson or something like that. They change their promotion, but follow the links below and sign up for an online class. They are super convenient and super helpful. So
Yeah.
in go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, most of my students, they chose to do online classes because they were. What they tell me is that when they are in a classroom, like, there are so many other students that don't get the chance to speak, or it's just like about grammar exercises and corrections, and then if there are like 10 people in the classroom, they speak for 5 minutes. Whereas when you are online, if you find a teacher that you feel confident with, that you feel at ease with, you just have the whole 30 minutes or the whole hour speaking with him, like, it's a focused attention on your needs, on your skills, on what you need to improve. So that's really, really worth it.
Find resources online automatically.
Yeah.
Um, I actually have a student that I go to his office, a professional student, and we had to change the my timetable changed, starting a new job, and like he preferred one of the options that he said is he's preferred to change to online classes with me.
Mhm.
And so he's changing from presential classes, face-to-face classes to online. And I think you really like it. It's I prefer teaching that way and learning that way.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you.
So let's get into some of your lessons. Like if somebody were to sign up, what can they expect?
hmm well, it depends if you are beginners or if you are intermediate, or most of the time, the very first class, I will check your level, what you know, what you don't know, what we can work on. And so there is an exercise that I do. It's icebreakers that I recommend to if there are any teachers who are listening and who want to start teaching online. Um, I just put very basic questions. I chose very, very basic questions, and I put them in a spinning wheel that you'll find online. It's called Wheel Decide. And I put
That's the
these
name. That's the
very.
website name. Wheel
Yeah,
Design.
yeah. I think this is a website. Yeah, yeah. Will decide. WHEEL decide.com.
Hmm.
I put the questions in the wheel, and you just click, and it will be like, what's your favorite activity? Do you prefer countryside or the city? Do you prefer the seaside or the mountain? Okay, and oops, Jesse.
Yeah,
Oh, this is, yeah.
this is it.
This is will decide. Yeah, exactly. So you can change the questions. Okay, you can write anything you want in the wheel, and so the student clicks, and it opens the question for him. So that's good for any level. Actually, beginners like it because you can read the question, so it's not all It's not all just speaking. So, well, of course, you can change what is
So you can
on the
change
wheel.
these
Yeah,
and you can make your own, modify the wheel.
exactly.
And then you can put your questions down here.
Exactly. So that's the idea. So that's super useful for any level, any students. They always like it, even the adults.
Awesome.
And
I'm going to
yeah,
use that.
it's very good icebreakers because it's not just about speaking, and also it's you don't choose a question, so it's just like, okay, let's do this question, and they always like, okay, talking about things so that you can see what is their level. Hmm.
Okay. I like
Hmm.
that. And that'd probably be good not only for icebreakers, but for any, any kind of topical class too, grammatical class, topical class.
Exactly. I did it last week for revising passé composé and imparfait, so past tense, in French, and they really liked it. So it was questions about their past events, and so they had to choose if they had to talk about with imparfait or with passé composé, and it was really interesting, and it's always a lot of fun. So they don't have to do like grammar exercises to just
Yeah.
about speaking. Hmm.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's awesome. What a great activity. I'm going to use that definitely in my online and regular classes,
Yeah,
academy
yeah.
classes as well. Awesome. And you've done that for your French classes and your English classes?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Excellent. Um, so one of my great tools that I like to use in my online classes is Google Docs. Do you use
Yeah.
those on your classes?
Always, always. I don't have one class without the Google Doc. It's like it's super useful for the teacher and for the student, like to remember what you've seen, what you've done with your student, and for the
Exactly.
student to see everything that you are writing. No, it's really, really super, super useful. I don't know how we would teach without Google Doc, really.
That's exactly, I
Yeah.
think the exact same
Yeah.
thing. So just this is what mine looks like. I put the student name, and then
Hmm.
if they, if they've paid, for example, for 8 lessons, like I'd put 1 out of 8,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I usually have a vocabulary and
Exactly.
expression section, and then maybe corre- corrections. And then
Yeah.
just kind of throughout our conversation, I make notes here. I can assign homework, and the
Yeah.
students actually can write here too. I share the link with the students, and I'm sure you do too.
Yeah,
And
I chose to make colors. Like for example, for vocabulary it's yellow, for grammar it's orange, and for pronunciation it's blue. So on top of the Google Docs, they know that if I write something in orange, it will be grammar related. If I write something in blue, it's pronunciation. So that I don't have to stop the student while they are speaking. I just write something in orange, and then at the end of the class, I'm saying, "Oh, okay, I wrote this in orange because there is something to do with grammar." So
how much do you focus on pronunciation with your students? And do you
um
focus on more with French than English, or like how does your pronunciation lessons work?
it depends. Most of the time, if we are in the middle of a conversation, I will try not to stop them in the middle of a sentence just to say, "Oh, okay, you said that wrong," so that they don't feel pressured, and so that they are not like self-conscious about their
Yeah,
pronunciation.
you don't want to break that rhythm,
No.
that momentum.
But I would write it in the Google Doc, and at the end of the class, we would read that again, and we'll repeat and repeat it again until they get it right. Sometimes, if I see that a student is really struggling with pronunciation, I would do some reading exercises, and we would focus like entire lesson on pronunciation. How can he improve it? What are the key things that he needs to remember to improve his conversation? But yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. And is that more difficult? Do students have more problem pronouncing with French, I'd imagine?
Yeah, yeah. There are sounds in French that don't exist in English or in Spanish, like the nasal sounds, the on. So this is about like knowing how to place your mouth and where to how the air is passing through your nose. So that's very very hard. The as well, which is not la jota in Spanish. So yeah,
Is
it's
it
a
a
bit
little different
tricky.
than la jota?
Yeah, la jota is
Yeah.
down here. The j is here. Yeah.
That's a little subtlety that you can
Yeah.
probably hear, but Spanish
Yeah.
speakers and like I can't hear the difference.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's really tricky at first. Yeah, understanding all the different sounds and also writing in French. There are like 15 different ways to write the sound e. And there is a sound e, and then there is a sound e, which is different. And there are 15 different forms to write the sound e, and 15 different forms to write the sound e. So at first,
Wow.
I try not to say that too much to my students, so they don't
Right, that's
panic
good.
and they don't say, "I don't want to learn French; it's too difficult." So yeah, it's good to not focus too much on how the spelling of words, and just go to like at first focus on the general language and not focusing too much on how to spell and how to
Yeah, that's actually a good point and a very good tip, especially for younger teachers. Don't bog down, especially newer students, with a lot of details of
exactly.
your language, because there are so many, spelling, pronunciation, grammar details that like it's not really necessary, especially in the beginning stages. It's more advanced and it could just be way intimidating for your students.
Yeah, or telling them, "Oh, okay, you made a mistake about this tense. You shouldn't use this tense every time they are using." It's not. It's not important. Like the important is that they try and speak, and then like if they are A1, A2, just let them make some mistakes. It's fine. And after when they are B2, C1, just say, "Oh no, that was conditional. That shouldn't be future tense." Like be more specific afterwards.
Yeah. And at first, it's all about communication, isn't it? It's all
Exactly,
about
and
the
this is
getting
all
that
they
message
want.
across.
Actually, yeah, the only thing that your student want is be able to communicate with you, be able to communicate with anyone when they are traveling to English speaking countries or French speaking country. So just try and find ways so that they can say the basics, like how are you today, what did you do last weekend, even if they are using present tense, it's fine. What's the weather like, and just okay, I can say something, and like they feel confident, okay, I can say something, is fine, the teacher didn't say it was wrong if I said it like this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Thank you. Now, do you have another activity, or shall we move on to teaching the difference of children and adults?
Yeah, for adults, actually, I tried. Yeah, you posted a video on your YouTube channel saying like description of photos. I don't
Yeah.
like the video that. Yeah, I tried
Yes.
this activity last week, and it
Did
was
you?
really weak. Yeah, it was really good. Actually, I asked my adult students to choose from 3 to 10 pictures about past events that were important to them. So it could be like social events or personal events.
Ah, very
Um, yeah, so that we practice speaking about the past, and they
That's a
really
great
liked it.
idea. That's a great touch to it.
Yeah. So they all put like 3 to 10 pictures on our Google Doc, and during our lesson they just explained what the picture was about. So it was a really good idea. So I wanted to stress this activity too.
That's awesome.
But
That's amazing. That's a different touch, and that's what we talked about last week with Harry about adapting lessons that you find online or on YouTube or from other teachers, and
mhm,
adapting it to your style, your students, and creating your own lesson out of it, right? Your own
exactly
creation. Because,
what
like,
resonate with. Mhm,
exactly. Sorry.
mhm.
So in case you don't know, I'll put a link to that video in a card above or in the link below. It's essentially describing a photograph. That was mine. And
Mhm.
it could be a photograph on Instagram, right? You describe a photograph and the other person draws. I think that's the one you were talking about,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And Camille brought that, and you brought that to completely modified it to your own style.
Yeah,
And then that's great
I got
because now
inspired.
you got inspired, and now you've
Yeah.
given me another idea. So you see
Yeah,
how these work together?
yeah, that's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So teaching kids online, that's a big thing now too. That's a growing industry with like 51 kids, I think, or VIP kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a huge industry now. But teaching
Exactly.
kids online is a little different than teaching adults online because of the
Yeah.
motivation. Because, well, I don't know. You tell me. I think you have more experience teaching kids online than
Yeah, to me, it's another job. Like,
yeah.
it's completely different teaching adults online and teaching kids online. Like, when you teach adults, you are in front of people who are most of the time, as we said before, motivated, who are here because they have an objective, who want to be here. Kids, most sometimes they want to be here. Sometimes it's because their parents want them to have extra French lessons online, and they are not always very excited about this. So as for group class, you have to find ways to make them interested and motivated. The similarities between being with one kid and a group of kids is, to me, the key thing is to find routines and repetitions to always like, so that they feel like they know where we are going. Okay, so always start the class with the same kind of song or game, go on with some activities that they know where we're going, and ending the class with the same kind of things. Kids love repetition.
Okay,
So
wait,
this,
let's dig a
Mhm.
little deeper into that. What do you mean exactly? Like, put that into practice.
Okay, so for example, for one of my kid who is 5 years old, I would always begin the class with our bonjour song. Okay, and it's always the same song, but we modify things inside of the song. So for example, it's um, um, uh, hello, how are you? And then I'm angry, and you, and then he has to answer, I'm fine, and you. And well, it's a little conversation like this for 40 seconds, okay, just to start the class, and then we put ourselves in a mood of, okay, learning. Okay, always this, and then always a true or false game. So I don't know, I will take something and I will say, je suis, I am glass. Okay, and then you will say, non, je suis un téléphone. Okay,
Okay,
and then
so
you
you
will
say
do it
like
as
a
well.
wrong thing. That's good for
Yeah,
me.
I said a wrong thing, so he has to say true or false. Okay, this is true or this is false. Okay,
Let's do something
and then
crazy. How about you do that with me, because I don't speak any
yeah,
French.
okay,
And so you have a day one I know I'm not a child, but
yeah,
you can have this like a child's lesson if you want,
okay,
or an adult lesson. It's up to you. And
uh-huh.
do teach me French.
Okay, good. Okay, so you are a 5-year-old. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Jesse, this will be okay. So we did the hello song, blah, blah. So this will be like, for example, we need to learn them. I will introduce you to the friends that I use with the students, with the kids students. Okay, so for example, this will be I always use Muppets. Okay, so this will
Oh,
be Monsieur Canard. Okay, so
Monsieur Cana.
Canard, very good, Monsieur Canard.
Monsieur Cana.
Exactly, perfect. Okay, good. So this will be Madame Vache.
Madame Vesh.
Exactly, Madame
Vesh.
Vache. Exactly.
Vesh.
Is this Madame Vache?
No.
No.
Es Monsieur.
Ca
No. Monsieur. What?
Canard.
Cana.
Exactly. Okay. Tu as Monsieur
Monsieur
Canard.
Cana.
Okay. Madame Vache.
Madame Vesh.
Okay.
Monsieur Cana.
Très bien. Madame Vache, Monsieur Canard. Okay. We have here Monsieur Pirate.
Monsieur Piet.
Monsieur Pirate.
Monsieur. How's my
Mhm.
pronunciation? Probably not good.
Monsieur.
Monsieur
Monsieur
Piet.
Pirate. Okay. Is
Pihat.
this Monsieur Pirate?
No. Es
No.
Monsieur Canard.
Très bien. Is this Madame Vache?
Yeah, sí, oui.
Oui. Okay, très bien. Okay, and the last one is, okay, we'll do it quickly. Monsieur Cheval.
Monsieur Chevada.
Cheval.
Cheval.
Cheval, exactement.
Cheval.
Monsieur Cheval. Ok, très bien.
Monsieur
Ok,
Cheval.
parfait. Ok, ok, donc tu regardes, il y a ici Monsieur Cheval.
No. Oui.
Monsieur Cheval,
Monsieur
très bien.
Cheval.
Ok, Monsieur Pirate.
Monsieur Pihat.
Ok, Monsieur Canard
Monsieur Canard.
et Madame Vache.
Madame Vache.
Ok,
Vache.
Madame Vache. Ok, très bien. Donc, tu regardes, okay, you have to look at them all four, okay? You'll have to close your eyes, ferme les yeux, and when you open your eyes, one of them is going to be missing, okay? And you have to say which one is missing, okay?
Okay. Let me just
Okay,
take a time out for
of
the
course.
audio learners to let them know.
Oh,
For
yeah!
the
Sorry,
audio
I forgot that you had
No,
audio
no,
learning.
that's okay.
Yeah,
But I'm just gonna let them know
you
that
have
that
to cut
is
them.
you're showing me a group of like stuffed animals and puppets of a
Yeah,
duck, a
yeah.
cow, a pirate, and a hippo.
It's a cheval, no, it's a horse.
Horse. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheval, like chivalry.
Yeah,
Uh,
cheval, exactly. Uh-huh.
okay. Okay, continue. Sorry. I just wanted
Okay, no,
to,
sorry, I forgot that there were people who were not watching.
no
Okay.
problem. They can learn French too.
Okay, so you'll have to look at them four, okay? And one of them is going to go, okay, is going to disappear, and you have to tell me which one disappeared, okay?
Okay.
So if I say 1, 2, 3, ferme les yeux, it means you have to close your eyes, okay? 1, 2, 3, ferme les yeux. Okay. Okay. Ouvre les yeux. Open your eyes. Ouvre les yeux.
Monsieur Pihat.
Monsieur Pirate. Okay,
Pirat.
excellent. Okay.
That's great.
And the idea is that here the kid introduces me to his friends as well. So with the help of the mother or father, he will have prepared a few friends, okay? And he does the same. So he introduces me, je m'appelle Monsieur Pirate, je m'appelle da da da. And then this is a game that they always love to do. So I close my eyes, one of them disappears, and I open my eyes, and they tell me, "Oh yeah, you're right, or you're wrong."
I like it. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing. I love that activity. Do you have a name for that?
No.
Let's make
No.
one now. What can we call
Yeah,
it?
let's make one now. It will be the
Meet my friends.
yeah, the Meet My Friends game.
I don't know.
Perfect.
That's
And
amazing. Go
yeah,
ahead.
this is one of the key things that I use also for children is that when I do something, they love to do it back. Like they would love to, if I lead a game, like then they lead the game. If we do a Simon Says, I first lead it so that they know how to play it, and then they lead it. And of course, at first it will be like not so flowing, but then after a while, they just know the game by heart and they love to play it, and they love that I lead it and then they lead it.
You play Simon Says with your online kids too?
Yeah, of course.
Great.
Yeah, when if there's no 3 actions, then it's perfect. And you can even play with their toys doing so. For example, I can say, Simon Says, Mr. Pirate, swim. Okay, so he has to take Mr. Pirate and make it swim.
Great.
Okay, yeah, it's really easy to play Simon Says online.
And yeah, and no prep, no preparation, no props or anything, just your imagination.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I write like on the side of the screen. I write what verbs I want to revise, so what I want to say, and but what he says is just improvisation.
Yeah, and what you said was a very good tip. Whether you're teaching kids or adults or teens or any part of teaching, is demonstrate the activity first. I think a lot of teachers, especially young teachers, we kind of forget to do that. We just tell students, okay, talk together about the weather for 1 minute or whatever. But no, the more detail you get in your demonstration, and yeah, as you're demonstrating the activity, the more detailed the students I've found will do the activity too. And that's with projects. I learned that when I gave my teenagers a project of creating a story. They were supposed to take a fairy tale, a well-known fairy tale, and change something about it. So it could be change the ending or change the point of view, the perspective, the protagonist, antagonist. But I did one first, and just by me doing an example, like their projects were amazing, and my school was really impressed. They're like, "You got 13-year-olds to do this?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
if you
demonstrate your
show them that
activities.
they can do it, yeah.
Yeah, and that
Sorry.
it's not just no, and it's not just like you're telling them what to do. You're doing it yourself.
Yeah,
Excellent.
definitely.
I love that activity. I love
Yeah.
it.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Trying to think.
Or
Um,
any other tips for teaching online, or how to get started in teaching online? Maybe some
yeah.
people don't know how to start teaching online, what to do, or maybe they're nervous, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like
Definitely.
students are
It's
gonna
funny.
pay me. What am I?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny because I have one of my good friends who wanted to start teaching on italki last week, so I already have all my tips prepared.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah. So what I would advise is to spend a lot of time and energy doing a good video, good presentation video, because this is the first thing that your students are going to see. To do something that you look professional, but at the same time easygoing, so that they want to speak with you.
Okay.
Yeah, a
Can
good
I
presentation. Mhm.
Can I just go piggyback on that and say that after, and also not just the video, but your profile, after looking, I looked at your profile for the research to do your introduction. And after seeing your profile, I changed the format of mine, and I copied
Good.
your format a little bit. So
So I inspired you as well.
you did, absolutely. And more today too. And so, yeah, your profile is
Your profile, your video, yeah, what you're saying needs to be not about you, like, of course, a little bit about you because they want to know about you, but mostly about what you think that the students are going to look for online. So what can you bring to them is more important than saying, okay, I have 5 degrees in blah, 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 blah. It's important, of course, but the most important is what can I bring to you? Why do these certificates help me to reach your goals? So yeah, good profile, good video is the main thing when you start. Of course, I started because I wanted to start. I was very excited to start on italki, so I started with a video that I just grabbed like during it was just like a 30 seconds video, and I just posted it, and then I started teaching, and then I did another better video that I spent a few days doing and editing. But yeah, this is the first thing people will see, so that's super important.
and yeah, that's very
Mhm.
important, especially because on italki, if you go on italki and you just have the list of teachers and they all
Yeah,
kind of look the same, and it's like the same thing, like you said, talking
exactly.
about your experience, I found that's what I learned from your profile too. You don't really have that, and that's what my profile before. Oh, I've been teaching since 2006, and I taught in South Korea, but I think people don't really care much about that. As yeah, you have experience, but like you said, what can you do for me?
Exactly. What can you do for me? What are you going to do during your classes? What do you offer? So that's the most important thing, definitely. Then I wanted to give some very practical advices, some very practical things, because if you want to, I don't know, for example, you want to teach every afternoon, okay, for 4 hours. This is a long time being seated in front of a screen. It's very different from being in the classroom, moving, getting up. So just very practical video, just practical advice. Just put your screen at the same length of your head. okay, so that your back is not bent and you're just like this or this, like just being
The same height as your eye.
height, yeah, same height.
So you're looking straight on and you're not hunched over.
Yeah, for your back, because you'll see that after a few hours your back really hurts. So like putting a cushion as well on your lower back, putting the same height of your head, like the screen at the same height, like having a keyboard here, like buying another keyboard so that you can have this, because after a while you just have a lot of back problems.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I've done that too.
yeah, and just try and feel as comfortable as possible. Just try and speak about things that make you feel comfortable. Don't do anything that you don't feel comfortable about doing. Just set your limits, your own limits, and then it will all flow.
What do you mean set your limits and don't do anything you don't feel comfortable doing?
I don't know, because sometimes you have students who will ask you, I don't know, oh, can I have a 2 hours lessons? Can I have, I don't know, can you correct these for me? Can you, I don't know. And if you don't feel comfortable with doing some things, just, it's fine. It's online. You don't have, you are the boss of yourself. So you can just do whatever you feel like doing. And it's good sometimes to try new things, of course. But this is what I'm doing for myself. Like if I don't feel like doing something, I just don't do it.
Like maybe if someone asked you to teach a business class or a marketing class, and you're
For
like,
example,
I don't, how do I
yeah,
do
I don't
that?
want to do this, so
Yeah.
I don't have to do it.
That's really good. That's really good advice. Like be honest with your students and be honest with yourself of what you can do, what your level. And like you said, there's nothing wrong with pushing yourself and trying a little more, trying something like a little outside of your comfort zone. But there's a level of like, you know, uh, taking money when you're not up to that level too.
Yeah, exactly. That's very good point. And this will be the main difference. If you are used to teaching in an institute or to teaching in a school, now you're free online. You are free. You are your own boss. You choose your own schedule. You choose your own like how much you want to the price of your lessons to
Charge.
be. Yeah, to charge, exactly.
Let me say this with that also. You choose your own schedule to a point. So if students don't sign up, then then you haven't chosen your own schedule. So just a little advice, kind of from my harder or like learned advice the hard way. Don't just leave your job thinking of greener pastures of teaching online, and then you're stuck if students like if it's a holiday in their country and they
Yeah.
don't sign up, or if they're working more or they're traveling, and then like without that income, without those lessons, there goes that income. So plan your life around that too. Make sure
Yeah,
you're stable online. Don't just think that it's automatic.
exactly. Yeah, what I did is like for the first year, I was teaching both. Like in the morning, I was teaching on italki, and in the afternoon, I was teaching in an institute. So I was just like, it's fine. Like if one of them doesn't work, I will still have the other. And when I saw that it was working well on italki, now I'm only teaching on italki. But like yeah, for the like of course for the five first months, first
First
5
5 months,
months.
yeah.
For the first 5 months, you won't have like all your hours full. Like of course it
Yeah.
will be a matter of time.
How many hours are you teaching on italki a week?
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot. Nice. Well
yeah,
done.
4 hours per day.
And counting, we always revert to our native tongue for counting, don't we?
Yeah. Did I?
Yeah.
I
I was
didn't
visiting home one time, and I
realize.
went to the bank to exchange money or something like that. And the lady, she was like counting, but counting in Spanish, like So I asked her, I was like, English is your second language, isn't it? She was like you. She's like, yeah, why? How'd you know? And because you don't even realize it when you're counting and swearing, saying swear words.
Yeah.
In native language too, isn't it? Okay. Well, these were all great tips and great ideas to get started online. Some awesome activities that that we can employ in our classes and activities. During the show, I like to take show notes to do a little wrap up at the end. So let me go over these and then we will say goodbye.
Of course. Okay.
Okay. So first, we have to, like you said, build confidence in the students. That's the first thing. Without confidence, like we don't really learn anything, right? We have to know that we want to learn. And I love your pillars that we said here. But find materials that students find interesting. That is the most important thing. Even if you don't find it interesting, if your students do, then it will be a good class. That We'll Decide website, I will put that in the link below too. That looked like awesome material, whether you're teaching online or in classes. Very important to adapt lessons to your style, like we talked about last week, like I've talked about many times. Take an idea, adapt it, change it, and then like we've learned today, then you get two ideas, right? So adaptation is your friend as a teacher, like the important photos in your life activity. And about teaching kids, start and finish lessons with routines. We've talked about that with Jessica in live classes. It's also appropriate on online classes as well. Like Camille said, kids love routines. Well, I don't know if they love them in an affectionate way, but they love them as far as they follow them. Use props during online lessons with kids, and as you saw with me, adults. And when teaching online, make a good and useful intro video and profile. That is fundamental. If you teach many hours, this was a good tip that people probably wouldn't think about. This is a tip from experience, I know.
I would have never thought about it before starting, but then I started having back problems and I was like, people need to know about this.
People need to know about that, and that is so true. Raise your computer and have good posture. And be honest with your students. If you absolutely can't do something, then be honest with them. No problem. They will appreciate the honesty. And if you want to try it anyway, then tell them, like, you've never done it, but let's figure it out together. Try that. I mean, honesty is your friend in teaching and in life.
Definitely.
Okay. Thank you, Camille. Anything else? I'll put your link to your italki profile below, wherever I post this video. Would you like to say anything else?
No, that's it. I talked a lot.
Okay. Well, that's why I asked you to come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try and find other videos of yourself on your YouTube channel so that I can get inspired by other.
Awesome. And adapt them and share those with me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, Camille. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jesse. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, I'm sitting here with my daughter, Sophia. She's recording this. And I just want to thank you for watching this video. If you like it and you want to see another video like it, then right next to me, you can click another video for a fun lesson idea or a teaching tip. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you get new videos every week.